Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be in time and space. Welcome to I Am Practically Spiritual podcast, episode number 27. And we are happy, as always, to announce that today's episode is sponsored by the Love Ladders, a collection of jewelry, small sculptural works, where every piece shines as a reminder of love's true presence. We're also grateful for the support of the Forgiveness Piece, a sculpture project devoted to forgiveness. We invite you to visit theloveladders.com and theforgivenesspiece.com to discover the many, many ways to express being practically spiritual, and be sure to use that coupon code spiritual, all caps, and receive a 25% discount. So I am Janet Weissman here with
Carlos Felipe,
and we are ready to do episode 27 of this little podcast adventure that started the beginning of this year. We are in what might be my favorite section of lessons for part one of the workbook. These lessons are lush with wisdom, and the wisdom that we need for the thought reversal system that we want to achieve. And I have often referred to this section as a master class of the course. I don't believe we can study this section without coming out changed by the lessons offered, and we will see the cohesiveness of how all the lessons weave together. Remember the spiritual tapestry? It's something I talk about in my videos, my YouTube videos. We're also so much more than we believed. We find that out with these lessons, and we have a greater function than we could imagine. But as always, we have a mighty companion to guide us, and let that mighty companion guide you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. See what I did there?
Okay. Yeah, it is. It's like you said, it's quite an amazing package of lessons. They are so built, the foundation complete.
Really, really amazing. So we're starting with lesson 184. The name of God is my inheritance. This lesson follows 183, of course it does, that I call upon God's name and on my own. And being one, of course, our inheritance is our name. This lesson echoes lesson 2, that, I have given everything I see, all the meaning it has, and everything I see, I have also named it, I've claimed it, and I separated it out of the all that is. And what was always one is now many different things. I've assigned names to everything, when in truth, everything shares the name of God. Names are seen as reality of what something is. Yet what is nameless is part of the allness and does not need to be singled out with a name. In the ego world, this is how we learn, and all of the illusions we made are our inheritance in the ego world. And there is no real meaning in that separated world. When we begin to question the relevance of the symbols and then turn them over to the Holy Spirit for clarification, now we can use those very same symbols as teaching tools. They are convenient, but the one name we need to use is God's. This one name unites everything and brings us closer to our real inheritance. Lesson 185, I want the peace of God. This is, I call it part 1 of my favorite lesson in the workbook. Part 2 is the review of this lesson, and we'll get there in a week or so. This lesson tells us that if we could say this lesson, I want the peace of God, and mean it, heaven would be in our full awareness. Even though many claim to say and mean these words, the fact is the commitment was not fully in their speaking. When this thought is the only one we want, the entire world will change. Our minds can only join in truth, not in illusions. To truly want the peace of God means to be willing to let all illusions go fully and completely. Now minds can join. We want the eternal over the temporary, and we will not accept anything except the eternal. Remember in the introduction to this section when it said we start our journey beyond words? We are instructed that our practicing for today is to forget words. Just concentrate on what you believe will bring you happiness. If there is any conflict you feel, then ask, is this what I would have in place of heaven and the peace of God? I'm sure the answer will come to you quickly. And as with many of our lessons, we are given the assurance that no one who truly seeks God's peace will fail to find it. God's desire is for all of his children to unite. Lesson 186, salvation of the world depends on me. And as I always say with this lesson, no pressure, okay? It is not arrogance to say this is merely the acceptance of our true function. It is God's will that both heaven and earth become one again. We might want to argue against our worthiness to accomplish or even attempt this task, but we must remember we are as God created us, so the ability was given to us in the moment of our creation. We are not only worthy of this function, we are perfectly suited to complete it. We only need to accept the plan as it was given to us. The voice for God will guide us and give us the strength needed. Once again, we will choose whether to listen to the voice, that's a capital V there, or to the pile of dust that we think is real. Every task that we are given, even if it seems impossible, will be achieved, and we will be directed and remember him who knew we were capable of the function. What is the one thing we will need to accomplish the salvation of the world? It is what this course is all about. Forgiveness. Lesson 187. I bless the world because I bless myself. If I want to give, I must have something to give. This is simply common sense, and it's the same in this world and in truth, with one big difference. When we give something in form, we no longer possess it. But what is offered in truth increases as it's given away. When we give the thoughts of holiness, they are given, and yet they increase within us. They never diminish. Nothing in a form that is given away will last, but the thought in back of the desire to give will be eternal. We always give to ourselves. Sacrifice is impossible. We give and have and never lose. There's no reason to believe in losing. The only sacrifice we are asked for is to give up our belief in pain and loss and death. Are these ideas we want to keep? As illusions are fully recognized, they disappear because they need belief in them in order to survive. Blessings correct all errors or mistaken thoughts. As we bless our brothers, and these blessings then return to us, and the thoughts of form leave our mind. We are left with the one perfect gift to give and receive, and give again and receive again. We are all one in one thought, one holy, loving thought. This is the blessing I have for myself, and thus I give this blessing to the world. Everything I see, I give, so it will be found everywhere for everyone. Lesson 188, the peace of God is shining in me now. We can replace the word peace with light in this lesson, if you would like. The light of God is shining in me now. God is filled with light, as is heaven. We want to be enlightened. And does this mean we want to recognize the light within each of us? Yes. And good news, the light is within you. It has always been there, and it is this light which brings us back to our home. Our very first giant stride lesson was, I am the light of the world. The light begins within our heart and then extends around the world and touches all living things and ultimately guides us home. The light renews us as it passes by, and everyone unites and gives thanks. It's like a big party. The memory of this light comes to everyone, and salvation is given and received. God's peace can never be stopped. As it is recognized, it must be extended. What we perceive within will be our vision of what we see without, outside of us. As our thoughts are purified and peace is all there is within, peace is what we will be seen everywhere. God's peace shines on all these thoughts and on us and all living things. So let us come closer to the light and all of the thoughts that we share with our Father. We will not let them, our thoughts, wander off anymore. All of our thoughts about this world are healed. Once again, we are innocent and open to receive salvation. The peace of God is shining on me and you and everything. Lesson 189, I feel the love of God within me now. So again, we're speaking about the light because we must learn and accept there is a great light within us. It has always been there. Our awareness of it does not change it. It is forever. When we feel the love of God within us, we will view the world from a different way of seeing, and the whole world will now be different. This world is now filled with hope, light, and love. This new old world gives us blessings all day long. This world offers us eternal safety because there's nothing to harm us. This is the world we can see with the love of God upon our eyelids. But this world is not visible to those who still have hatred in their hearts, those who have yet to forgive. We will only be able to see one world. The one we will experience is the one that reflects what we feel within. Feels a little repetitive, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And I always say this lesson comes with instructions because in paragraph 7, it tells us how to see the world that is filled with God's love, how to pass by the ego world filled with pain and choose the new world of God's love. I've shortened this paragraph because I did. Okay, but paragraph 7, it says, simply do this. Hold on to nothing. Do not bring any past thoughts with you or any past beliefs. In fact, it tells us to forget this world, forget this course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. I suggest going back and reading that paragraph, actually the whole lesson. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
We want to allow all of the obstacles, the blocks, to be removed and never to go back to them. And now ask God to show us the way to Him. He will respond. He will come to us because He loves all of His children. We receive His gifts and we think in alignment with our celestial Father. Our will is one with His. We are restored to heaven. Now, lesson 190. I did something a little different, okay? The lesson is I choose the joy of God instead of pain. So we're also saying in this lesson that I choose love over fear or truth over illusions or heaven over hell. Any of these choices should be easy. We know what we truly desire. And this lesson is broken down. I've broken this lesson down into the titles of previous lessons or phrases from past lessons. And I really want to show the cohesiveness of this course, how put together it really is. So for paragraph 1, there's no cruelty in God and none in me. For paragraph 2, I do not know what anything is for. For paragraph 3, there is no love but God's. Paragraph 4, you can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, knowing that God goes with you wherever you go. Paragraph 5, my salvation comes from me. Paragraph 6, the world I see holds nothing that I want. And 7, what I see is a form of vengeance. 8, I do not perceive my own best interests. 9, come with holy, empty hands unto your God. 10, God's peace and joy are mine. And paragraph 11 is the title of today's lesson. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. So as we've discussed before, one lesson is every lesson, and that's what we did with today's lesson. And I hope you find this another way of looking at something. Hope you found this interesting, okay? So this concludes the masterclass lessons for this week. But don't worry, there's going to be more to come in the next 2 episodes.
Definitely, there's so much information, as you said, and but because of that, I would love to just go back to 185. I want the peace of God, right?
Yes, I wanted to.
And like the lesson says, we can sometimes just give lip service to that and say the words, but really mean it. And if we can just concentrate on that, because sometimes I feel that we want change, but we still would like to maintain the illusion and then change some things and have a better dream, right? So,
we only want to change a few things, okay? Because there's a lot of the illusion that we're enjoying, okay? So I want the peace of God, like on top of what I already have. I don't necessarily want to change where I'm at. You know, in order to come to the point of really wanting to change, is that we have to really get to that point that this just isn't working anymore. You know, I've gotten to that space that I really am ready to let go, that, you know, hold on to nothing. Or I talk about this philosophy of frozen. Let it go. Just let it go.
So then for us as students, we really, if we can concentrate on that, how to not just keep part of the illusion, but to let it go, but pieces, and eventually we'll have to totally let it go.
Right. You know, and you know, the course gives us multiple lessons where we ask, you know, when something is happening, is this really what I want? Is this really what I want to see? Is this where I think I'll find my peace, my happiness? So just to ask ourselves that, and
that's a useful thing, right? So
Right.
that's the invitation, to ask ourselves that.
Yes,
about the illusions.
definitely.
And then in lesson 189, I feel the love of God within me now. And for me, that was very powerful, because we don't have to wait for anything. And the invitation is always, and here I was able to see it clear, if you look within, you will find your true essence.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be searching outside, or...
Because there isn't anything outside. You know, but we keep forgetting that.
But that we have to be reminded again
Right.
and again and again and again. And
Okay.
again. And then the last one, to close it off, there's so much in these lessons, but in 190, I love how...
I choose the joy of God instead of pain.
Instead of pain. And then the first line there is, pain is a wrong perspective, right? So if we are suffering, if we have pain, what we need to change is our perspective. Would you say that? And even sometimes when we feel that we can sacrifice, that sacrifice can lead us to pain.
Well, in the course, we're told the only thing that we're being asked to sacrifice is the pain. Okay? Give up the feeling of pain, give up the feeling of loss, give up the feeling of death. Those are the sacrifices, in big air quotes there, that the Holy Spirit asks us to do. This is what you need to give up in order to be happy. Give up the pain, because we're not going to be able to have the pain and the joy together. So I choose the joy of God over the pain. It's always one or the other. I can't have both. Nor do I really want both.
Yeah. And the invitation is then to look at it, and if we have the pain and the suffering, let's look at it, why that is, and what we're not letting go of, right? Because the invitation is there.
Yeah.
And that's the practice, and that's the gap, and
Right.
that's where.
And that's the practical part of I am practically spiritual.
Yeah. And these lessons, like you said, is the invitation, how they build onto each other, the principles on how to, have the surety to trust, to let go and trust what is.
Right.
After we let go of, the illusion, and if we're suffering, hey, we have an invitation to do it differently, right?
Yes, we do. So we want to mention that, please leave a comment on YouTube if you're there, or you can send us an email at iampracticallyspiritual@gmail.com. So we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, until next time, thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, remember to
Breathe and smile.
That helps as well. All right. Thank you for joining us.